What's up, YouTube? Today we're doing a Smite ADC tier list for higher end ranked slash SPL slash whatever you want to call it. We're doing it live on stream, so you'll see people chatting down here, giving their opinions in season 7. Season 8. Yeah, my fault. So yeah. Before we get into the list, this list does not mean like end all be all. If you like to play a character that's low on the list, do not be disencouraged from playing them. This is more like a high-end rank list, so if you're like playing in GM and stuff or whatever like that, this is what I think best. And I'll give as much insight as I can as to why I think what's going where, and at the end of the tier list we might end up making some adjustments if I look at a tier and I'm like, oh, those characters really do not belong in that tier, or that tier seems a little unbalanced or something like that. We will go, adjust on the fly. But for now, let's get started. Danza, absolutely broken. Best ADC in the game. He can build like every single build. Good with crit. He can rush berserkers just like all the other hunters can. He's unboxable. His 3's overstated. His ult's broken. The only nerf they gave him was like 10% damage off his rocket, which doesn't even stop him from one-shotting people. He's too hard to dive. He's pretty hard to gank. He's impossible to box. His 1 does way too much damage. He has like pressure. Like, I don't know. This character is just OP, honestly. Until he gets broken like 2 or 3 more times, or until he gets nerfed 2 to 3 times, that character would be first pick, first ban forever. Moving on, Cupid. I think Cupid's S tier still. I think there's gonna be a lot of Cupids being played in the SPL. I don't think people are playing him in ranked much. I don't know why. Probably because they're bored of playing him all of last season. He's still really good. They did nerf him twice, which I think did impact him, but I am still almost certain of the fact that once SPL comes around and non-competitive starts, that Cupid will be high picked every single lobby just because he's so good and is super, super good until the other hunters that are also good, which makes him better. Kind of the same issue we saw last season, where like, you could pick Rama, you could pick Heim, you could pick anybody, but if you're against a Cupid, you're just feeling bad, right? So, Cupid, OP, still really good with all the build paths as well. Good pressure, good everything, yeah. Heimdall, I think Heimdall's S. Not only does he triple proc Death Toll, he gets pressure in lane, which is a big deal. He's impossible to gank if you play him well and place his crystals well. He can go literally every build in the game. He's good into a lot of hunters. Actually, what I've noticed a lot is that with the Berserker's Rush build, you're pretty much unboxable because you heal so much more than everyone else because you're triple procking your Death Toll, and your autos just hit so much harder naturally. So he is really, really, really hard to lane against, and he's also hard to gank, and he's really good late game, and he's just like a really, really, really solid hunter. And once you like break through the average skill ceiling of Heim, you get like, you tend to see some results, so to speak. So yeah, I think Heim's really strong. I think he definitely deserves to be an S tier. I think Apollo at the moment is probably S tier as well. This is a ADC only tier list, like only for the ADC lane, but you do have to consider that Apollo's going to be picked pretty highly next season just because people are playing him in jungle and whatnot. People are abusing the like hunter, like people are making this whole hunter meta thing with like everyone going a solo laner hunter and a jungle hunter and then an ADC hunter, and there's like 6 hunters every lobby. And I think Apollo's pretty good. I think Apollo will strive in this meta. The map's a little larger, so his ult gets a lot more value. He he's got a really good build path right now. He's really, really strong with fail not crit, just because like you can all in somebody, land on him, and then kind of blow him up with the fail not passive procced on that person. And he's just very flexible. So although this is an ADC only lane or ADC lane only tier list, like you still got to consider the fact that he's super, super versatile and can be played in many roles with great success. And also what's really good about Apollo is that his steroid is actually so nutty that he's actually one of the better feeling hunters with the crit build because you don't get much attack speed. And then when you go Deathbringer last item and you pop that 100% steroid on your passive, you melt super, super hard. So very, very solid character. Very solid character. I do think these 4 are going to be played like almost every single game that they're open. So Yeah, moving on. We have Onher. I think Onher's a A-tier character. He can feel really useless sometimes because he's like really easy to dive and whatnot. But you know, he's got really good matchups right now. He's really good into like all four of these characters, which is a big deal. And I feel like his passive is actually really good against what's it called? People building prots. Like he just does more damage to people. So if he goes a Berserker Shield and somebody else goes a Berserker Shield, he just does way more damage to them. His all-in's really good. His build path's great. And I just think he's like really strong into mainly these four characters, which makes him a more valuable pick. Granted, if you do get behind on him, or if it gets super late game, you're not going to be feeling that good on him. But I do still think he is a very, very good pressure pick, a very great fighter, can force a lot of scenarios in the 1v1. And I think he'll be played quite often in the next season, or this season coming up. AMC will be the next god of choice. I think he's an A-tier character. I kind of wish I kind of would put AMC like almost S, but he's kind of like hard to play because you get ganked often. You're gonna feel really useless, and on top of that, he's not like the best into some of these characters. For instance, like Onher kind of stomps AMC. Cupid's really good against AMC. Danza's pretty good against AMC, but all in all, I think AMC is super strong. And if you like, if the meta devolves into something where it was like season 4 meta where you just pick 2 hunters that kind of AFK farm to level 20, AMC is going to be one of the best feeling hunters in the game, just because his hives are so OP. The map is larger now, so if you get a nice hive set, like a hive network setup, you're harder to gank. He's pretty hard to 1v1. He's pretty annoying to play against. He's really good with Cal. You get like a million movement speed when you're alone in the jungle, so you get really hard to chase and dive. And a lot of AMC's issues come from like being ran down and stuff like that. So now if you go Cal and you have your one like maxed up and you have a good network of hive set up, you actually become pretty impossible to chase down. He's got really great pressure early game, which is also a big deal because I think there's going to be a pretty pressure oriented meta, if I do say so myself. I'm not quite sure yet because rank doesn't really tell me anything, but I think pressure will always be relevant in duo, and AMC has great pressures. Yeah, I think he's good. He's gonna be really good. I would not be surprised if this character gets played a lot next season, just because I think he's a very strong character. Up next on our list we have Artemis. Artemis, I think she can be played in some spots, but like she's pretty useless. Let's be realistic. As much as I'd want this character to be good, I just don't think she'll ever be played like reliably. The only time people have been picking Artemis were into Cupid at Worlds because haha can't ult me because I have my 2 slowing me and you, haha. But even that didn't really work that well because there's just obvious flaws with the character, no escapes, short amount of CC immunity, easy to dive, and on a map that's even larger and has more jungle path entrances into dueling. I don't know if that's the right terminology, but she becomes even easier to gank. You know, she's just never going to be good. She's not good in lane. She's really good late game, but she's not good in lane. She's pretty terrible into all the characters above her right now. And I don't know. They need to change this character somehow before I see her being played in a competitive lobby, like reliably and consistently. CERN, I think is B-, most likely. I could put him up to B, but I don't know. This character does just always feel useless when I play him. Maybe I'm a bad CERN, so I'm gonna put him lower on my list. Like maybe if I was Cyclone, I'd have him like A- or something like that. But I think I don't know. He doesn't really offer much. He got some nice buffs, I think, on his 1 this past patch, but I just think the character's super weak. He doesn't really give you pressure or anything. He's not a great like laner. He's pretty easy to box. Sustain is not like anything crazy, especially people going Death Toll. Like maybe he's gonna be a little bit better, but I don't know. I every time I play this character, I'm like, dude, why am I even this character? He just does nothing. His ult's pretty shit. His 2 is like pretty mediocre, and he just doesn't do anything. I don't know when I'm gonna be picking Cernanos, if I am ever picking Cernanos, unless there's like some 1v1 matchups that you maybe want him into. But even then, overall, you're not gonna be picking him often, and I think he's pretty mediocre. Churn Chiron got some nice buffs. I think he got a base attack speed buff on his 2. He's not the best early game pressure character, but you don't necessarily need early pressure to feel great on Churn. Once this character hits mid game / late game, he is very, very, very powerful. A global ultimate, of course, is really nice on a map that's larger, just because it is harder to follow it.
Place Gamers 20 just resubscribed. When are
True,
they gonna give Artemis a buff?
I don't know. Hopefully soon. I think he's good. He's got a good, really great build path. His ultimate's really nice if you use it well. At the moment, I don't think a lot of hunters are like really fighting, so China will probably be getting through the early game quite often. And I think he's an overall solid character. It's gonna be played sometimes. I think he's probably on the same level as these two, maybe even A-. Maybe I put him A-. I don't know. Maybe we could lower him at the end of the tier list, but I think he's good. I think he can be picked quite often and probably will be. Chiron, for myself personally, I actually think Chiron's pretty good. I think Chiron's I'm actually gonna put Chiron A- just because I think Chiron's actually really strong. You might think I'm trolling, but like Chiron got a really nice buff on his passive. Maybe he's B. I'll put him B for now. Maybe I'll throw him up, but he got a really nice buff on his passive. The only issues that I see with Chiron at the moment are that, like, his build path isn't like really great. Like, you don't really want to be going crit on Chiron because then you can't do like too much damage with your ulti late game to like backliners. But you can go crit nonetheless if you want to. He's still fine with auto attacks. And he's got some good matchups here and there. Like, he's pretty good into some of the immobile hunters. He's definitely good into like Cern and Artemis. He's good in AMC. He's fine into like Apollo and Heim and Churn. I just think he's pretty easy to dive. He doesn't really have much CC immunity. His 1 is like, if you're using his 1 for CC immunity, then you're not getting damage off of it usually, which means like a large chunk of the damage in his kit is gone. And at the end of the day, if you're not hitting all your ults, you're going to be doing just pretty much marginally less hunter or less damage than all the other hunters. But if you do get ahead and you do actually get some power items online, like maybe a trans and like a berserkers in there, and you're hitting your 4 on multiple carries or even on just multiple people in general, and then getting the nice 2 on them, you're going to be doing a lot of work. Just, consistency is kind of the issue here. So I think he's pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if he's picked at least like a couple times in the SPL. I'm pretty sure he's just like an array character that's just gonna be picked once in a while. Hachi, I think they fixed Hachi, so I'm gonna throw him up in A-. I actually haven't played him yet, so I'm not sure. Or maybe he's B. I know they fixed the beads bug, but not being able to use anything off your ult. They might have fixed this by now. I'm not actually sure. Maybe somebody in chat will tell me and I'll be like, oh, oops. But I think them changing the ability to like 4-3 somebody instantly in the same frame is like really detrimental to the character and how good he feels to play. Used to feel really good because you can all in like super easily and it was super reliable damage, and now you have like this weird like freeze frame period where after you ult you can't use an ability after that, or like something. It's just weird. I don't know why they changed it. I thought maybe he would be okay because people were going Cal and stuff, like myself included, and his passive gives him pretty much infinite mana. So I was like, okay, maybe we'll do that. But now I see a lot of people are going Death Toll, and I think if you're going Death Toll, then his passive is pretty much absolutely useless. And then past that, if he has a pretty clunky kit or a kit that just feels pretty mediocre at the moment, then I don't think he'll be picked pretty much ever. In fact, I think he's actually worse than. Yeah, revert his ult change, and then maybe he could be an A- again. But even then, if people are going Death Toll, you're kind of just losing the value of the character and what he was good for before. So yeah, B. Hu Yi, another B character. I think I don't know. I think Hu Yi's just kind of whack. He's like he just doesn't do anything right now. He doesn't really do anything that other hunters just don't do. He's like fine. The map kind of screwed all of his cool bounce spots in lane and on camps. It's pretty unlikely that you get like really nice bounces now. In the old lane, there was actually some really cool bounce spots, and like camps were super easy to clear with all the bounce spots. Now you can't even clear anything, man. I think the only thing going in his way is that it's kind of like a crit meta developing. So if you choose to box you can only crit him once every 3 seconds, and that does shine to Hu Yi's strengths of like wanting to 1v1 all the time. But I just don't know. I don't think he's really that great. You can pick him sometimes into like some matchups where you're like, oh, maybe I'm gonna bully this matchup, but I don't know. I personally think he's pretty weak. He doesn't have any CC immunity. If you don't land his 1, you're kind of just like well, here I am. He's not really great with the crit build either because he has no attack speed in his kit. So with people going like Witchblades and stuff, you're actually be feeling super terrible in team fights. And you can go the pen build, which is fine, obviously, and you can go Cal and stuff, but I think you have to sacrifice too much to actually make the character really do much. And past that, I don't know. I kind of just think he's just kind of felt that way for a while. Yeah. Is Anami. Do I think Izanami's good? I'm kind of tempted to put her A-. I'm not gonna lie. I'm actually kind of tempted to put Izanami like A- or B. Because she's actually just like really strong with the meta items. And like the meta build pass with like berserkers and stuff. She becomes a little harder to die with berserkers being a thing. She can actually achieve like crazy amounts of pen with her passive, which is really cool. And her one is just like a really sick steroid. I don't know. I think I'm probably getting a bad idea because of ranked. And I feel like if I ever pick this character in competitive, I'm just gonna get like completely dogged, and I'll be like, okay, she's trash. But Thorns being nerfed kind of made her a lot easier to play because you're not just getting like W keyed at the whole time with Thorns, and then you can't even peel for yourself. You can kind of like blow people up with like your other backliner. But even then, like I don't know, she has no CC immunity. Her dash is super easy to follow. Her ult, you can never even hit that shit. Her two is just a useless ass, slow ass move, like slow ass ability. And I think she's just pretty mediocre. I think I am kind of getting the wrong idea from rank. That I think if I'm looking at this list like competitively, I think she's still pretty bad. So we'll leave her in B tier. Who's next on the list? Yeah, Jing Wei. Jing Wei I'll probably put an A-. I think she's okay. What's nice is that she can go like the crit arrow and almost get 100% crit chance. And like you can fly back to your back camps and get pretty efficient back camp uptime with her. You can kind of like just start out farming the ADC, which you can always do. She doesn't actually have that many great matchups at the moment, but she is kind of the only character that I feel really comfortable going crit on, because you can get like up to like 80% crit if you go the ornate arrow, and it just feels really strong. But I don't know, she could very easily be a B as well. Problem with this list is like I kind of want to put her in B, but if I put her in B, I don't even know who I'm going to put in A-, right? So maybe we'll adjust it after. We'll figure some things out. She is pretty mediocre though. She doesn't really have pressure in lane. She doesn't really outbox anybody at the moment. She's not the hardest ADC to gank, so I guess you can kind of play safe with her if you want to, but I don't know. I don't really think she's that strong. I think the only thing that would even kind of bump her into A- is that it's a crit meta. And having like just built-in crit in a character is just going to be nice, right? So we'll leave her in there for now. Medusa. I think Medusa's pretty dog, honestly. I think until they fix her dash, she's just going to be hard to play because she just you can't get away from people. They just stand in front of you, and that's it. I think the only thing that's like kind of nice is that she's really bursty, and if she gets ahead, she'll blow people up a lot pretty often, but the thing that I've noticed with a lot of these characters that are kind of like super reliant on 1v1 matchups, Medusa included, is that with the Berserker Shield Rush, it's kind of impossible to like just one-shot carries now. So gods like Medusa and Uller, the second that Berserker Shield is finished, your combo goes from like insta-killing somebody to doing like 50% health. And at that point, you're just like, okay, that feels like pretty bad. And I don't know. I think she's just kind of whack. She's always had the issue of like her ultimate not even giving you CC immunity. You get stunned in your ultimate all the time, or stunned out of your ultimate. I think she's just kind of mediocre. Her dash is obviously terrible. Her one is like the only thing that's even good on the character. Her two doesn't even clear archers, I'm pretty sure. Still doesn't clear archers. Like, I don't know. They need to fix this character. They just I don't know. She not good in my opinion. Neith is who I have next on the list. I unironically think Neith is kind of an A-. Not kidding. And I don't really know what makes me think that, but it's just like based off of feel, I actually think Neith is really good. I don't know why. I really don't know why. It feels so weird, but like Neith just feels good to play right now. She's actually just a really good boxer in lane, and she's pretty strong. And if you use her ult pretty well, or like if you're able to use her all well, like she's definitely like a viable character. I don't know. She's not really bad at too many of the characters up here. Like she's not great into Cupid, obviously, but past that, I don't know. Her 2 buff actually made her feel really nice to play last season. She's pretty good with all the build paths right now. She definitely can play with crit. And I don't know. Like I think Neith is good, man. I think Neith is good. I think Neith is good. There you go. I'm leaving her an A minus. So beat it. So be it. Rama's probably just gonna be an A plus character or A high character. He's obviously just got a really strong late game. He's really hard to die with his ultimate. The only thing is the trees just fuck him so hard, and it's almost impossible to hit your jungle or hit your ult in the jungle when people are running around. But you mean he's always just gonna be like a pressure character that's just really good early game, really good mid game, and obviously scales extremely well into late game with his crazy attack speed steroid. He's really good with crit, he's really good with pen, he's kind of just like an all-around great hunter. I think he's a little bit worse this season. They changed that like instant roll off of his ultimate, which is kind of a big deal, and they changed the map obviously, so it's harder to just hit your stuff with it now. But really strong character and is a pretty consistent pick that will do well most of. Moving on, we have Scotty. I don't know. I actually don't know where I want to put Scotty. I kind of want to put Scotty C tier, but she probably belongs in like B minus tier with CERN and everyone else. I think the meta is gonna be very not Scotty favored. I think it's gonna be a crit meta / a like heavy pen meta with like Exian kins and stuff. Scotty can build those items, but just in general, like she doesn't love to. On top of that, there's not actually like very many great starters for Scotty. You can just go Destal and become like an auto attack hunter, but at that point, why wouldn't you just play another hunter? I don't know, man. She just doesn't feel impactful. On top of that, a big deal is like people are just going Berserker Shield rush, right? And if you're rushing Berserker Shield, like what is Scotty gonna do? He's not gonna kill you if you have prots. You're not gonna die to with prots. And if people are going Death Toll, you can just kind of sustain and then just not die to Scotty. And if you're not dying to Scotty, then Scotty is not a threat. Not a threat. She's not a threat. She's just not scary in general. Like if you're not like in threat, if you're not threatened to be soloed by Scotty, you are not afraid of the character. I think she's just not good. Good. Can be played sometimes, but not good. We're almost done. We have Uller. Uller is one of those weird ones where I actually think Uller's pretty good. I think if you go I was playing Uller earlier, and if you go Destal on Uller, you can kind of be really spammy and not even have to go trans, which is kind of a big deal. It feels really nice. I don't know if I'd put him in A minus necessarily. I think he's definitely like high B. Like I think he's better than Chiron, Hui, and Hachi. And I actually think he probably is better than Jing Wei and Neith. Oh, maybe I do think he's just A minus. Like I think he's just a strong character. If you had all your abilities, I think you'd be feeling really good. The only problem is he has no CC immunity, which is really annoying, and his kit can be kind of hard to like pilot sometimes. But all in all, I think with Destal being picked up a lot, you can kind of become really spammy and actually use all of your abilities early game. What felt really bad earlier is like when I was going Cal and stuff on Uller, like you use 3 abilities in lane and then you're just done for, right? But now you can kind of just spam all your abilities and feel really strong. I think what's really annoying about Uller and why I don't think he's an even better character or like even higher on this tier list is the problem with Berserker Shield being built. It does take away a lot of his oppressiveness, where like he just doesn't one-shot you anymore. But with that being said, I still think he's strong enough to like so hard pressure lanes and actually just win within like the first 10 minutes before you can even get that Berserker Shield online, which I think will be used often in the SPL. I think Cyclone and I will both be playing this character. I'll see what happens in scrims and stuff. We actually haven't scrimmed at all yet, but I'm sure like people who are good at Uller and like Uller will be playing Uller in the SPL this season. I think he's really good if you hit all of his. And then last but not least, unless maybe I'll decide to do magicals, which I think they're all just bad, but I maybe throw them on. X-Ball. X-Ball is another one of those weird ones where could be an A- character just because you can go Death to Alignment kind of perma sustain your one. But even then, like, is he really good right now? I kind of think he's just like a weaker character. Like, his ult is okay, but it's not great. His darts phantom hit like 90% of the time, and you just miss him 90% of the time because it's just like not a guaranteed projectile hit. His dash is pretty mediocre. Like, it's like fine. I don't know. He's fine. He's just like all right, I think. I don't know. I think I'd put him B. I think I'd put him B. I had him at C tier on this tier list over here, on my like notepad over here, but I think he's probably B, maybe B minus. Probably B minus. Probably B minus. I think he fits more in with these hunters. Like when I look at the tier itself, I'm like, yeah, this looks more like
Sarcasm just
X-Ball tier to me.
That baby is coming soon.
Sarcasm, think of the 8 months, bro. 1 more month and we're in, baby. What do we think? I think this is pretty accurate. I think this actually looks way better than I had written down on this notepad over here. This looks pretty accurate to me. I'm not gonna lie. I don't even know if I'd move anybody in their tiers, respectively. We could maybe just do this. Right? I think this is pretty accurate. Medusa should go up. Medusa's bad. We could do mages. I kind of think mages are just bad. Not gonna lie. I think. Fuck. I put description D. I kind of think. What mages can we put in here? Freya. Freya's pretty dog shit. Early pressure is just terrible. Her build path is pretty mediocre. It's like kind of fine, but they're like the problem with all these characters. Their builds are so bad. They're actually just such bad like builders right now. I think Soul's kind of terrible. I've seen some people play her mage. Like you can go full mage on her, but then like you just have a mage. Like I don't know why you would pick Soul. Like maybe if you want to, what's it called? Push towers down the whole game. You can if you want to, but I don't know. I don't think she's good competitively or like at a high level. I think Kronos is the same thing. His build path is very mediocre. I mean, if a game goes to like 50 minutes, you'd be able to auto your Phoenix for like 600 and like 4-shot somebody. Sure, he'd be okay, but I just don't see him ever doing well into any of these top hunters ever. Oleron, I played Oleron the other day. You kind of just do like 60 damage in auto. I'm not kidding. From levels like 1 through 10, you actually auto for like 48 or something like that. It is like ridiculous. You just do no damage. And you could rush like Rod and stuff, but it takes so long to get everything online. And on top of that, you're just so easy to dive and kill. And like you just can't use Death Toll on like half these characters. You can't really go Cal on any of them. Like, the starters are all just bad on all these mages, and it's just like, why are you picking them? Why are you picking them? Yeah, I think yeah, I think this is pretty much it. This is pretty much it. Let's see if anybody said anything. Drop everyone down a tier to show the difference between Danza and the others. That's true. Danza is like an entire tier above all these characters. The only character that's actually pretty good to Danza is like on her. But even then, I'm sure you'll make a joke out of on her when it comes to like an actual game, just because on hers and ranked are like more aggressive and stuff and tend to like play up in the lane. But in comp, everyone's just, you know, everyone's so scared. And so I think this is pretty much it. The only thing I'd put in here, maybe set. But even then, like set, you can kind of play in all 5 rules. So putting on tier list kind of just is like cheating, you know. Cherno and Anhur are the only 2 characters that I think are like pretty good into Danza. But past that, I don't know. They're not even like that good to where like you don't want to be playing Danza in those scenarios. Like I would play Danza into Anhur any day of the week. Same thing with Chernobog. Like I would love to play against a Chernobog as a Danza. Just because you can't like do what you really want to do is like completely fine. Just because you're gonna be so nutty mid and late game and impossible to dive. And I think he's just broken. Honestly, I think this character is just he's too good. He's just too good. It's just you can't beat him, dude. They gave us 3 like 16 effects. I don't know why. Why did they do that? Also, before I close this out, like I said, if you do enjoy any of the characters that are on this list, and you play them casually, or you play them in low levels at ranked, don't stop. Don't stop. Every time I do these tier lists, they're like, oh my god, dude, what is this guy even talking about? I played Izanami from silver to platinum, and I won every single game. There's just no way. Like, these people just don't know how to play against. So like, okay, bro, we get it. You're good at Izanami. I'm bad at her. Like, let's move on. But yeah, you know, take this with a grain of salt. This is obviously for like the higher end of ranked. If you like to play Neith, if you like to play Scotty, Artemis, like any of these characters that like to play on her, you play them as much as you want. Have fun with them. This is mostly just my opinions on what I think will be played when, and what I think is good.
Shelton just resubscribed.
Dragon what?
Dragon what?
Dragging these nuts across your chin, boy. What are you talking about? And yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Hopefully the explanations suffice and explain everything that you guys want to hear about these characters. If you have any questions about why I put characters, or if you have anything in specific, or specific questions that is as to why something is where it is, leave it down in the comment section down below, and I will try to get through as many of them as possible if it's questions that weren't already answered through the actual recording. And that's it for this video. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, click the bell to know when I upload next. YouTube grind will commence pretty hard. I'm actually super motivated after having a nice long talk with somebody today who helped me figure some stuff out. And yeah, I'll see you on the next video. That's it. I'm out.